Waking up into our grief in the mornings is an experience of re-experiencing our loss again and again and again. Today I'm going to share a morning reset routine that I've created to help address this defeating morning grief experience. My name is McRogers, and I'm a therapist who supports grief through my private therapy practice and through this YouTube channel. Please join our Grievolution community by subscribing to the channel and turning on the notifications bell so that you'll know every time that we are exploring all things grief. Waking up into our grief leaves us feeling powerless. Our emotions are hijacked, our stress hormones dominate, and the worst of our grief then sets the trajectory for our day. When I was grieving, I certainly experienced morning moments of deep, sharp, short inhales, and I probably didn't have a full exhale for months on end. This is a very holding, protecting, limiting posture that needs to be challenged in the mornings. Please comment below if awakening into a state of fear or anxiety or breathlessness has been a challenge for you in your grief. I'm certain that I'm not the only one who has experienced this in the mornings. So, how to meet this awakening state? Today, I ask you to learn and practice this simple routine in order to challenge the trajectory of your day. The core of this routine is based upon polyvagal theory. I've taken a really simple routine and I've enhanced it through a grief lens. I'm always doing research and experimenting with ways to do grief differently. Today, I ask you to experiment and support yourself and your grief differently. C.S. Lewis, a famous children's author, wrote after the death of his wife that no one ever told me that grief felt so like fear. My personal and professional experiences with grief have taught me to firmly believe that the persistent and debilitating themes while grieving are fear, safety, hypervigilance, and lack of hope. Feeling the need to be hypervigilant is a normal response to fear. We last addressed safety and hypervigilance in one of my other videos that I will link to at the end of this one when I suggested a routine for inviting in sleep. You can watch that after this video. For today's purposes, about starting our day, we're going to address the very common themes also in grief of safety and lack of hope. The phrases for my morning reset routine are, I am safe, better days ahead. Now, of course, you're free to create your own phrases that use your own words and that you feel comfortable with, but please try to address the themes of safety and hope. These themes are some of the most dominant emotions while waking up into our grief. Our brain believes what we tell it. That's the superpower of negative self-talk. Phrases such as, I'm scared because I don't know how to do this. I'm scared because I believe that I'm never going to feel better. These are common grief beliefs. So, while beginning yet another grief-filled day, challenge those thoughts with the phrases, I am safe, better days ahead. Practice saying these phrases in your head and let the words flow in unison with the breath. On the inhale, I am safe, and on the exhale, better days ahead. Doing even this simple part of the routine is already challenging our limiting grief beliefs. Pairing them with our breath reminds our head, heart, and our body that we do have some control, some power, and some influence. Once you've established your breath work and phrasing, it's now time to put this to work with addressing our vagus nerve. So why the vagus nerve? You can do your own research if you just Google vagus nerve, but the elements that you need to know today are the vagus nerve starts in our brain, and it is the longest nerve running through our body, down our chin, through our chest, into all of our breath, our digestive systems. It regulates the parasympathetic and sympathetic systems. Imagine if the waking message to all of those physical systems in our body are that we aren't safe and that we will never feel better. This then feeds our sympathetic system, which results in hyper-awareness, hypervigilance, and states of fear, which then result in the fight, flight, and freeze response. This is being stuck in our sympathetic side. It increases our alertness, our restlessness goes up, our blood pressure, our heart rate, and our respiration rate all increase. It hijacks our digestion. It skews and impairs our immune system. It brings about skin and muscle sensations, such as not actually feeling in our bodies when we are grieving. It impairs and affects our speech and our taste, so we don't talk and we don't eat. Waking up into these states is such a hard place to wake up into. Now, imagine that you can send your vagus nerve messages of safety and hope to be able to expect better days ahead. You can then begin to imagine growth or change or self-regulation, and that serves as an invitation to vitality in order to meet our grief. These messages will help to regulate through the parasympathetic system, which helps to support a change from a state of fear into a state of safety. It supports us by decreasing our level of alertness and hypervigilance. It lowers our blood pressure. It lowers our heart rate and our respiration rate. It helps with calmness, relaxation, and digestion. If our body is able to feel safe, our minds have a fighting chance also. So how do we put this all together? Well, picture in your mind that you are waking up in your bed, or in a bed, or on the couch, or on the floor, wherever grief finds you in the morning. As you go headlong into the reality that this heartache is not just a bad dream, please try this routine. Laying on your back, place your hands behind your head as though you're cradling your head. This is almost symbolic to activate that area of our brain where the vagus nerve begins. Keeping your nose pointed to the ceiling, with your eyes open, look hard left. And with several breath rounds of inhale, I am safe, and exhale, better days ahead. Then blink your eyes, return your gaze to the ceiling for several moments, and then repeat the exact same pattern while looking to a hard right. I am safe, better days ahead, 30 seconds minimum. On each side, the signs of a reset can be a yawn, a sigh, or a swallow. That tells you that you've met that physical threshold of a reset. And then imagine that you bring your gaze back to the ceiling and do another round of an inhale, exhale. I am safe, better days ahead. Then slowly get up out of bed and make your bed. This is to symbolize that you are entering the day with a sense of control, a sense of hope, and a sense of momentum. Grief is a sneaky bastard, and it is so important to meet the day and to meet the grief on so many different levels. This routine is a combination of science, of thought, breath work, and creation on my part. I've been practicing and refining for a while now, and I would value your feedback for 3 counts in the comments below. Number 1, will you give this a try? Number 2, try it and please come back and let us know if it had any gains for you. And finally, number 3, what do we call this? How you start and end your day holds such power. And this is especially true when we are grieving. Please be willing to experiment to find what works for you. As you enter your grief-filled mornings, I send to you Kind thoughts, kind words, and a kind heart. Please, if this has been helpful or good information today, please like and share this video so that YouTube will share it widely with all of those grievers that are waking up into a state of fear in the morning. Thank you and take good care.